You're live! Welcome to Piper Unplugged. This is a very special episode because I've been in Forks, Washington for over 24 hours now. Yeah, a little bit over 24 hours. We arrived yesterday. Is there no sound?
Did you put that at 4:15?
Yeah.
Because it's not 4:15 yet.
Yeah, but
Okay,
it should still work. Yeah.
Ouais, c'est bon.
Okay.
C'était cool.
And we've been here for, since noon yesterday. So it's been more, and it's 4 p.m. Well, 4 or 4 p.m. right now. So it's been more than 24 hours that I've been in Forks, Washington. If you're like, Piper, what's Forks, Washington? It's the first time I tried this. Oh, pretty good. Not disappointed at all. Well, it's the town that Twilight made famous. There's a lot of history in Forks. It's not about cutlery, no. It's an actual name of a town. And it is, if I'm not mistaken, on the Olympic Peninsula, yes, in Washington State. Yeah, pretty much. So on the west side of the United States of America. And to come here, I could have actually taken a ferry from Victoria, that is in British Columbia, but on Vancouver Island. And quite frankly, the whole Olympic Peninsula is a bit similar to Vancouver Island, and Victoria, because it's inland, out of land, so you need like a lot of ferries to go to a lot of places, or else you have to do the whole round thing. But I don't think in British Columbia you can go to Vancouver Island unless with a ferry. I don't think it's doable by land. But you can always correct me when I'm wrong. So we have here, good boy, 46. Hey, what's up? We have Snoopy, who's here. Forks, how about spoon and knife? Yeah, I know, I said that already. And Vehement Dark, who says, Piper, my beautiful. Hey, thank you all for tuning in and for being here. So yes, we arrived here, and Forks is the way geographically Fork is the middle of nowhere. But it's an interesting middle of nowhere, because it's not the middle of nowhere that you would think of. Why? It's surrounded by a national park. The Olympic National Park, or the Olympic Forest. There's a lot of like mini parks and forests. It gets very confusing. They all have different names. There's campsites. There's places you can like really go sleep in, and then there's other ones that are just trails. You have to pay to park your vehicle. Yeah, you have to have a day pass, a Washington day pass. You can take it for longer. I had to buy one this morning. But the whole entire Olympic Peninsula has not much on it. I mean, Port Angeles maybe has a little bit more. To give you an idea, there's no McDonald's here. And if you're like, well, Piper, just go to A&W. There's no A&W either. There's an Ace Hardware store. There's a Thrift Away convenience store, like a grocery. Sorry, not convenient, grocery. There's a few convenience stores. There's a Sonic and another one that I don't know what it is. And then I think that's pretty much it for the big names and labels. There's nothing. Even that place behind me that you see, Sully's Burger, that's closed. We were so excited for a real griddle burger and some real French fries, but we went to another place called The Place. It's called In Place. Yeah, La Place. And it was just kind of Gordon and Cisco food. It was very disappointing. So no handmade French fries, none of that diner culture. I mean, yeah, so that's too bad. Good, no McDonald's, better eating. Well, I don't agree. That's the thing. I don't agree. It's not because there's no McDonald's that there's better eating. And although you would think that's kind of in the countryside, so that there would be a lot of cows and stuff like that, no, because it's parks. And there's also a reservation here. I'll get into that in a second. As you might have read in the title and the thumbnail, well, this is all about Twilight. So we're going to need to go back in time and then bring it back here. If you know anything about Twilight, now would be the right time to drop all of your very, very intelligent comments. Yeah. Or like if you have some fun facts about the movie or the book, or anything you know before I say it, because after I say it, well, I won't trust that you knew it beforehand. Of course, I'm gonna have to be the one who told you. Hey, Panico That's a difficult name. We're just gonna call you Panico. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's talk about Twilight and let's talk about Forks. The thing is, with all that's been happening in Forks now, yeah, now it's like Twilight Town, but it wasn't always like that. No, it wasn't. No, Snoopy, it's no. Hey Brian, thank you for dropping by and saying hello. That's very nice of you. Oh yeah, we made a new sale. That's awesome. I love it when my sales come on at the same time as my live shows. Yeah. Okay, so are you ready to talk about Twilight? If you're a guy and you don't like Twilight, or if you're like Piper, Twilight has been over for years. I agree. It's just like I'm in this Twilight time capsule right now, and we're not talking about the Twilight Zone. We're not talking about like the X-Files. No, we're talking about real Twilight. Okay, so first thing you should know, Forks, Washington was a logging town. Yeah, meaning that everything around here was meant for wood. Yes, hardwood. Huge trees that were like, hundreds of years old. There's still some stumps a little bit around town. Yeah, if you want to see them, there's some. So it is a huge logging town. But then, well, it closed, like the big, I guess, logging mill. I don't know if that's how it's called, but I have some notes here so I don't mess it up. Yeah, okay, it's a mill. That's the logging capital of the world. So that's what it was. That was what Fork was. And that was in October 1990. So just a little bit before I was born. The mill closed. And that's over 30,000 jobs that were lost. This is huge. Like 30,000 jobs. That's the size of cities. Well, small cities, of course. Like maybe, okay, villages. Small villages. And so all these jobs were gone. So of course some people were starting, I'm guessing, to flee the town, to go seek job elsewhere. Forks, Washington is still, like the biggest town near would be Seattle. If we're talking like big, like that would be Seattle, which is a good time to get there. Like by car, it's a little bit, And then you can also do car and ferry. We took a little ferry boat that took us about 45 minutes from Coupeville to Townsend. And that was nice actually, but there's a few other ones, that you can take and get there. So, from 1990 to like, let's say 2005, okay, the town was doing nothing. People were like leaving and it wasn't great. But then in 2005, what happened? Well, a girl named Stephanie Meyer, okay, she might have been a woman back then, but let's just say girl, it's easier like that. Well, she wrote a book. Yeah, she wrote Twilight, the book we all know about now. And that, for some reason, put the city on the map. I mean, I'm going to tell you why. So you better stay here. Go grab a beer, I don't know, a beverage, something, popcorn, whatever you want, a diaper. If you really want to stay here for a while, I'm good with that. I mean, if you like reading some like sci-fi or like fantasy, sometimes in the stories, they're actually inspired by real people or even real places. Or else, of course, you have something like the Lord of the Rings. Well, that guy went crazy. I mean, he invented languages and places and maps, and it was like Dungeons and Dragons before that even existed. So sometimes authors do that, but other times they get inspired by real life. I don't know if it's easier or harder, I have no idea. Yeah, it's my car, it's telling me that the door's open. It's nice, huh? It looks like a bat a little bit too. Yeah, I just realized that. People are liking it. It's getting dirty again, but it's a good dirty. Yeah, just a little bit of pine and all of that other stuff. The Tesla supercharger, actually, there's one in Forks. So there's no McDonald's. Oh, look. Yeah, my doors don't open like this, they open like this. So there's no McDonald's here, but there's a Tesla supercharger. Go figure. Maybe Twilight people, they like electricity a lot. That's my guess. So when Stephanie Meyer wrote the Twilight book, she got inspired by the town, okay? Because she needed a town where her vampires, they could live in that town. So, what are Stephanie Meyer's vampire compared to all the other badass vampires from before? Yes, thank you, Master. It's cool. We have like clap, yay.
Yay.
If you're used to like Nosferatu or even
Real vampire.
yes, like Anne Rice's vampires. Well, I mean, of course, Twilight
Yay.
is smutty. It's almost smutty, but not really. But I mean, I didn't read the book, so I can't say. But I watched the movie yesterday, the first one, just to get back into it and to be sure that you guys would have the right information. So that's what happened. Twilight is the R-rated show. I think you're thinking more True Blood and not Twilight, because Twilight is not R-rated. They don't even kiss in Twilight. Like they kiss once. Well, they kiss a little bit, but he can't kiss her because he's scared he's gonna eat her. So every time he kisses her, he looks like this. He looks like he doesn't want to. It's like, oh, it's so difficult. I hate this. I want to eat you. I love you, but no. So he looks like disgust every time he kisses her.
My first homosexual experts.
Yeah? How was it? I love it. Continue. Hey Jack, thank you very much. You make my day better. I love to make people's day better. Inaman CEO says, I've got a 400-year-old fir tree. Those fir trees, they can live very long. Like I think in Redwood, Oregon, there's a lot of those. And then you named it Doug. That's cute. That lives in my backyard. I think he's been living before you've been living. And he's got 6 kids. 3 live in the backyard and 3 live in the front yard. That's awesome. He reproduced. That's great. So cool. Okay. So to get back to Twilight, and to real vampires versus non-real vampires. Now, Stephanie Meyer, she was like thinking of her vampire, and that's like the Cullen family, right? And, well, the way she did her vampires is a bit different than other vampires. Usually vampires, they sleep during the day in coffins, yeah, so they need dark space. They don't like garlic, like it's bad for them. They don't like religion, so like crosses are out of question because they're like the satanic beings, and anything related to God is bad. If you throw holy water on them, they kind of don't like it either. They will burst into flames into any sunlight, right? So far, I have it good. Did I forget anything? And, of course, they are really good at some weird stuff. Like, sometimes they can read minds, sometimes they can kind of, you know, they're like the perfect, how would you say, the predator, right? It's a vampire. So a lot of the vampires are like very charming. Thus Anne Rice's Vampire Lestat. And who do you have in that movie? Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. Like, seriously?
That was Interview with a Vampire.
That was Interview with the Vampire? Not the same thing? Same author?
But it was before Vampire Lestat was Interview with a Vampire.
Okay, so it was Interview with the Vampire. Well, still, you get the gist. Okay.
But that was Tom Cruise and Brad.
It was Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, and now you have, yeah, that other guy.
I don't.
So, all of this to say that that's like your typical vampire, right? Inspired by Dracula, which was Count Dracula. You know, Dracula just means son of dragon, right? Go Google it. I know stuff. So, the thing is, all the
Too much sun.
no, I'm good. It's hot. It's nice. All of that happened with the vampires was kind of that until I guess Stephanie Meyer arrived, and then she was like, no, I want vampires to be able to live among the humans. What she did with her vampires was sort of like a vegetarian vampire, and that's how Edward, well, sees himself.
I would say vegan.
You would say vegan? You go as far as vegan.
Vegan. She made a vegan vampire.
Oh yeah, so okay, vegan vampire. So they don't drink human blood. They only drink like animal blood, and that's why they said they're like weaker than the other vampires.
Yeah, that's even worse than I
Yeah. They're really vegetarian vampires or vegan vampires. They're really vegan vampires. They can go out. They can live with people because they try to be cool with it and not eat anybody. It's difficult at first, but at one point they're able to do it. They all have like some superpower. Every vampire is like kind of one superpower. It's kind of like personality traits, but different.
Do you choose your superpower?
No, you don't choose your superpower. It chooses you, like in Harry Potter. It's like, yeah, you don't decide in which school you go that one. Not school, but like, yeah, house. So that's how her vampires work, I would say, in the gist. And also, her vampires can go out during the day. Her vampires don't sleep, they don't have coffin, there's no religion, really, like, or very little, especially at the beginning, in Twilight. It's very for everybody, like for alphabet people too. And, well, so there's none of that. Her vampires, yeah, they never sleep, they're okay with garlic, they just don't cook, they don't eat any normal food. I don't think they get sick from eating it. Like, I've seen some vampire movies where the vampires get sick if they eat food or they die. It was the movie The Humanist Vampire Looking for a Suicidal Person. Well, just look it up. It's a Québécois movie. It was a great movie about vampires. So that's what happens to her vampires. And then the other special thing about her vampires, about Twilight vampires, is that, are you ready for this? They sparkle. Yeah, in the sun. How much more gay can that be? So they legit sparkle in the sun. Like, sparkle. And so she had to find the best place for her vampires. And I mean, I'm not in Stephanie Meyer's head, so I don't really know what came to be or how she decided all of this. And what came first? Like, was it the whole story about the vampire, or was it she found this place and then find the story? I don't know. But, hey Trasher, thanks for tuning in. Hey Lori. Lori says they don't like water. They're fairies. They have no weaknesses. Silver, garlic, crucifix, onion. We love our gay vampires. That's Davy Salix. I think you need a genderly diverse vampires, right? Vampires were too not gay before. I mean, I'm sure vampires are gay. They live forever, so they gotta try everything. I'm sure every vampire has a gay experience at one point. Like you.
They just wear black. They don't wear all the colors.
Oh yeah, that's true. They wear black. Yeah, but like, so you have these sparkly vampires, and so the way humans would notice if you're a vampire or not is because you sparkle. So she had to find a place where the vampires wouldn't sparkle. What does that mean? She looked for a place that had the most rain and clouds in the entire United States of America. And what did she find? Forks, Washington. This place, for some weird reason, I know it's really nice and sunny since we've been here, is the place where there's the most rain in all of United States of America. And it's interesting because the whole Olympic Peninsula where Forks is in a rainforest. That's how it's called. Like, it's the rainforest here. Okay, maybe not like jungle, because we're not in a jungle state, but it still is a rainforest. And I have some like cool numbers here about how much it actually rains. So it rains 10 feet a year of water. That's still a lot. Like, that's a lot. And so there was 3,000 people who live here. It's a fairly small town because, like I said at the beginning, in Forks, well, there's not that many things to do. The logging is closed down. It's all parks that surround you. So unless you work in a park back in the day, or you work in something that would sustain the economy, let's call it like that, before tourism, well, those were kind of your only options. Yeah. But now, since there's been Twilight, there's about 70,000 tourists a year who come here. Imagine that. That's a lot of people.
How many there were before Twilight?
About 10,000. Yeah, about 10,000. But that was only for like recreation, right? That was only for the trails, camping, all of that stuff, the lake.
It was not for the town, it was just for the camping.
Exactly. It wasn't for the town precisely. It was more so for all the activities that are done. And there's not that many places to sleep at. Unless you're doing some camping, even though you're in a big park. In the middle, there's like nothing, only forest. And then on the side, you have a bit of towns, or like very small towns, that can accommodate you, but there's not enough accommodation for every tourist that comes. So there's a lot of van life people here. We've seen a lot of camping, a lot of Rambo. Yeah, a lot of those people that just walk with a pack sack and I guess their tent or something to sleep, like stealth camp in the woods. I have no idea. But there's a lot of that. Mostly guys. I haven't seen girls like that. We've seen just like 5 walking past there in the past 2 hours. So if you look in that vicinity, you might see one at one point. So this is quite the interesting part about Forks. Hey GGXGXGXG. Hello, would you take your pet to a vampire veterinarian? I mean, that's the thing though. In Twilight, the main guy, like, is a doctor, and that's how he turns them, right? And he has this big family, and like it's Dr. Cullen, and so he's a vampire doctor, I guess you could say. Have you been to Sully's Burgers? No, it's closed. Yeah, the Sully's Burgers behind me is completely closed, so I haven't been. We were talking to some ladies here in Forks at the florist. It's not on the main street, you have to go a little bit down. It was Charlene and their other name was super cute. Well, they told us that it was like the daughter of the guy who took it again, but she wanted to retire now, so I'm guessing it's been the family for a long time, so she's looking to sell it. And they told us it was closed on Mondays, but we thought it was just Mondays, but I think it's really closed, so I can't tell you more about that. Norton Range says, one of my favorites, Lost Boys, is one of the vampires movies that started it all. Lost Boys?
Yeah, it was one of my favorite.
Yeah, it was one of your favorite too?
When I was gothic back in the days, I think Sutherland plays in that one. It was,
Sutherland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, no, I'm just repeating for the mic since you're before.
And it was good.
Yeah?
I liked that movie a lot. And I think it played Bela Lugosi's.
Oh, it played Bela Lugosi's song?
It was in the time that, Gothic was cool.
Yeah. Okay, Gothic was cool. Then Laurie Fair says, is Bram Stoker's book the original vampire novel? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, and it's inspired by Count Dracula, who was a real guy. Like a real guy. It's a very interesting story. Because Dracula means son of the dragon, and it was actually his father who had this, I only know the name in French, I don't know the name in English, maybe it doesn't translate well, but so he had this town, it was his town, I guess you could say, back in the day, and it was called Valachy. And so his father ruled on Valachy, but Valachy was in between, if I'm not mistaken, Muslim and Catholic, in between these two big countries. It might have been a bit different, like Romania, I'm not sure. And then, well, what happened is that it would flip religion depending on whatever would happen. And at one point, the emperor of the Ottoman, so the Muslim emperor, he was like, well, you know what, why don't you come over to my castle with your two younger boys? And the Dracula, so the first Dracula, Dracul, not Dracula, so not son of the dragon, but the father, he was like, yeah, okay, I'll come. So he came there with tiny son, yeah, Dracula, son of the dragon, and then his younger brother, who was called Le Beau. And so they went there and they were kidnapped, sort of kidnapped. It was a thing. So what they would do is that they would take the sons of their enemies and then they would raise them as their own. It was kind of a tactic back then. So he was raised Turkish, that Dracula, and then at one point the emperor was like, okay, you go back to your town, Valachy, and you will reign on it now. And he was like, okay, yeah, but he still held the grudge for being kidnapped when he was a kid. So he decided that he would do it on his terms. And for some reason, he really liked impalement. That was kind of a thing that he learned from the Turks. And it really stuck with him. And there was two ways you could impale. One way was just kind of like through the torso and you lean like this, but not great. But the other way was through your other orifice. And actually, they wouldn't pierce it. No, there was a round. It was round at the bottom, like at the top, of the stick, it was round. And so you would slowly but surely fall on that piece of wood until, well, of course, you pierced yourself and died of abominable suffering over years. But yeah, he loved that. He did that to everybody. But the issue was with Count Dracula, the issue was that at one point, well, yeah, that other Turkish guy who was like, not so great. So he took it back, and then Dracula fled, and then he was taken again, and then fled again. But he realized, though, at one point in the story, that the more people he impaled, the smaller his army needed to be, because people just feared impalement so much that was fine. So yeah, I wonder why too. So he did a lot of that, and he did a few other things too, and you might have heard some of those. So at one point, when he reversed the government, like renversé, when he took the government, all the people that voted against him and that were against him, he invited them at this big, luxurious, like, buffet. And then what he did is, like, after everybody was done eating, he just impaled all of them.
No, he burned that.
That's the first one. Wait, there's another one.
Oh, Jesus, worse than I thought.
Yeah. Then there's the other one, which is that he invited all of the poor people in the town, in Valachy, in his town. And I again invited them to a buffet. And there's two stories for that one, though. The major one is that he would have locked the doors and burned them. The second one is that he would have impaled all of them. I think the impalement makes more sense, though, than the burning, but that's just me. Go check out Wikipedia. There's a lot of information about Count Dracula and impalement. And so, yeah, it was inspired by the real guy, and his Bram Stoker, who asked one of his friends, who was, I think, an historian or something, if he knew somebody who would fit kind of this crazy person, and that's how they found the real Count Dracula in Valachy, and then he merged that into a vampire who I guess liked impalement. I don't know, but there's a lot of impalement. And then unfortunately he got killed and he lost the throne. And his younger brother, Le Beau, also got killed and lost the throne. So it didn't work out great for him in the end. It was quite unfortunate. But yeah, that's the story. Snoopy asked, is there Tim Horton there? No Tim Hortons. No, but we're in the United States of America. So United States, like, no Dunkin' Donut, I guess that would be better.
It was bought by Burger King.
It was bought by Burger King?
So we should have Tim
We should have one of them, but there's none of them. I'm Batty says, oh sure, you come for a visit. I'm out of the country. Good to see you're still around, Piper. Oh yeah, thank you, Batty. Of course I remember you, and I'm still glad to be here as well. I really love doing all of these new things because I'm learning so much. I think the movie Nosferatu was the first vampire movie. Oh yeah, but that was like in black and white, right? So that would be the first.
1922, I think.
1922? I mean, and they redid it. They redid Nosferatu. I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. I mean, it's kind of redundant, right? Because you're seeing the same things. I also saw the other one, the one done by... Who's the guy that did Le Grand Bleu? The French guy. So he did another Dracula, like Bram Stoker's Dracula. It was good too, but it's the same story, right? So if you know the story, you kind of like the actors, you like what they do with it. But I think I enjoyed Nosferatu, the new one, a lot more than I did the new Dracula from c'est quoi son nom? Well, the French guy that did Le Grand Bleu. So Google him, you'll find him. Yes, then let me get through a little bit of the comments and then we'll get back to impalement. So, a vampire loose on the street of Las Vegas. The Night Stalker? That's from Kevin? I don't know that. Fork City motto should be Fork You. That's not great. But they have a lot of city mottos here. Like drain you, dry, vampires like to... Bite me, yeah, is one of them. There's a lot of stuff. Got my beer out. Great, thanks, Trasher. Impalement, I believe that is called. Yeah, I heard this story on a... Okay, wow, this is great that he talks about that. Columbus has many Tim Hortons. Oh, cool, that's good to know. I still have my autographed picture. Oh, that's from I'm Batty. So cool. I'm D Batty. Sorry, I'm D Batty 1. That's awesome. Thanks, Batty. Okay, so that's the thing. We are here in Forks, Washington, which is now Twilight City. Let me get back to why. Why did it come from a logging town to Twilight. Like the movie, the books.
Make a recap for all the people that joined Ray.
So for all of you who are just dropping in, or that are already too drunk, I'm here in Forks, Washington. I've been here for over a day. I knew very little about the fact that this town was about Twilight. I'm here to film a Piper Unplugged documentary, and the documentary is actually about silence and quiet, because here in the Olympic National Park and Forest, it is also one of the quietest places in the United States of America. So I found that quite interesting, and it is one of the rainiest and one where there is the less sun. Yes, in all of the United States of America. So it has a lot of cool things actually here. A lot of one-offs. But as I came here, I realized that, oh wow, there's no McDonald's, but there's so many Twilight. Like, you have no idea how many Twilight there is. And it is really everywhere. In every store you go. I don't understand why I don't have like a banner of Twilight. There's even motel rooms that are team Twilight. Now, yeah, don't ask me so much how they do it. I think they just like play the DVD for you all the time, and they put a banner, because really in Twilight there's not really any teamed room in Twilight, right? So there's Bella's room, and then they move, and then there's like Edward's room, which has nothing in it because it doesn't sleep. So it's just like records, books, and this like long chair that you would use to speak to Freud, that guy. So that's it. Now, what happened is that Stephanie Meyer, when she was trying to find a place for her sparkly vampires to not be sparkly, well, she Googled something like, where's the place where there would be the less sun in the United States of America? And it would rain a lot, and so my vampires could not sparkle most of the year. And bam, she found it. Forks, Washington. So she decided to use that real town for her fantasy fictional book. It's not true, guys, okay? Twilight does not exist. Just so you know, because I feel like all the people I met here do believe it's real. Like, some people actually want to get arrested by Charlie. That's Bella's sheriff father in the movie. He doesn't live here. It's not true. So it's an actor. This is not the... Well, okay, we'll get back to that maybe another time. But to get back to the real facts about Twilight, Stephanie Meyer, when she wrote the book, she did write about Forks. And so she did her studies pretty well, because like even when I was watching the movie yesterday, it's quite fascinating. When you're here, everything really works out the way it is in the movie and in the book. Now, there's something you should know though. The movie was not shot in Forks. None of it was shot in Forks. The book might be a lot more representative, because that's really just all of the research in paper and in words. So Forks is this little town, tiny little town, that Bella, after leaving her mom in Arizona, who is with a guy that plays baseball and wants to play like baseball, so she decides that she's gonna let her mom go with the guy, because I mean, she likes them, but they want to travel and he has to travel for his baseball. So she decides she's gonna go with her father for a little bit, because she's still too young. I mean, she's a senior, but she's like still young. She can't live alone. Well, back in those days, I guess. So she moves in Forks with her father in a little like house. He gets her a truck, the Bella truck. It's actually at the visitor center. There's sort of the same truck. It's a pickup, an old pickup. So you could definitely find that anywhere pretty much. And that's the town. So the town it's not like in Rambo, First Blood and Hope, where they really shot Rambo First Blood in Hope, BC. In the movie, I think it's Hope, Oregon or Hope, Washington, if I'm not mistaken, but they shot it there. Here, they didn't shoot any scene here. So the town doesn't really look, you can't be like, oh, look on your phone and you look at like, oh, this is the shot they did. There's none of that. There's no copy paste of, oh my God, like Edward was standing there, Jake was standing there, Bella was standing there, but everything else is true. So like the high school, I think it's the football team, is the Spartans, just like in Twilight. And then there's a lot of other things that are very similar. So geographically, it is the same. So you got Forks, and even in the first Twilight movie, I'm gonna say movie because I didn't read the book, like I said, they go to Port Angeles to try on prom dresses. Yeah, well, Bella's not supposed to go to the prom, so she doesn't really try them, but her other two girlfriends, they go and try dresses. Well, Port Angeles is about like an hour 40 minutes from Forks, and it is a bit bigger city. When we came in here, we actually slept in Squime, and then there's Port Angeles, and then there's Forks. Yeah, that's how it works. And then if you go down, there's Hoh, H-O-H, like forest and park and all that, and that's pretty big. That's where you do the most of the climbing and like the walking and all of that. So that's all true. And then also in the movie, when they go to La Pouche, that's on the reservation, right? That's in Jake's, so Jake is a werewolf, well, not yet in the first movie, but in his reservation, that belongs to the werewolves. And then the Cullens, well, they're kind of more, not downtown-ish, but kind of on the verge of Forks downtown. They're not in Forks, they're just out of it. But still, for some reason, it goes to the same high school, so let's not debate on that one. And, well, that's the thing. All of that, when they go to La Pouche, I haven't been there yet. We'll see if we have time. Like, there's a lot of stuff I want to do, but I'm trying to concentrate on the Piper Unplugged documentary. There you can surf, and it is on the reservation. There's supposed to be some restaurants and really nice things to do. There's also huge logs of woods because it's a timber, right? Or used to be a timber place here. So they used to do logging and all that. And so they wash up on the shore because there's high tide, low tide, and they have like, I think the woman told me like 40 feet waves sometimes here. This is huge, So it comes and it goes, and the scenery on that beach changes all the time. And that is a real reservation, so this is true. Jake's tribe, right, that would be descendant from a wolf, like werewolf, that's also true, from this tribe of native peoples thing. Now there was some, of course, when the white people came in, they just, the Europeans, not call them white, we don't really know. But when they came, they did a treaty and then they put them there, which sucks, but that's that. I can't do nothing about that history right now. So, but that's all true as well. So everything you've read or seen in the Twilight movie is really that. Although most of the shots have been shot not here in Forks. Like I said, nothing of the movie has been shot in Forks. But the geography of it works. So I have this little map that a woman gave me, and on the map you can see like, oh, this is like the beginning of the reservation, this is Jake, there's even this little island where Bella jumps off of, but that's not in the first movie, that's another movie. And some tourists sometimes they try to jump off of it, and then the coastal guard has to go and get them. In the movie it's a lot less steep. You can't do that on the real island. Don't do it. Don't try it. Don't come here for that. It's not possible. You will like not make it. That's what I heard from locals who've been there all their lives, like 70 years they were, and they said like it is not doable. Also, there's also really cool things to do. Like when we were driving here, that I don't think is in the movie, like the Twilight movie, or not the first one, but there's a lake, and it's really blue, like the sky blue, like almost dark blue. And there's a whole bunch of like stories of people getting in the lake and disappearing, and also a guy who supposedly like killed his wife and then he sank her down, and years later she resurfaced and she was just like ivory because the lake is really, really cold, and it's really, really deep too. So this is just interesting stuff about the environment around Forks. There's a lot more to Forks than just Twilight, but if you are a Twilight fan, you will definitely get your fan fiction on. Okay, what else do we have here? Laurie says, Hammer House did Dracula films with our beloved Christopher Lee. Okay. Always nice to see you in a turtleneck. Well, thanks. It's cold here. Like the sun is really warm, but the wind is cold. And that's been interesting. So I've been wearing layers. Yeah, that's been something I've been doing since I'm in Forks. I'm Dibati says, because Stephanie Mayer, yeah, the author of Twilight, wanted us creatures of the night to get no peace and quiet. I guess like it's interesting, right? Because yeah, in her like sense of it, a vampire would just be someone with this like one superpower. They still have extreme speed, strength, and this one special skill that they can do, and they can totally like woo you, right? So the whole point is that they're like the Casanova of predators. So everybody loves them, everybody falls in love with them, wants to have sex with them. It's kind of like the charm of the vampire. Is really a thing, so that they eat you more easily. So that's in there. Trasher says Daywalker Blade. Oh, Blade. Yeah, the Blade movies.
That was a black vampire.
Yeah.
That's weird. Vampire. Why not?
I mean, it makes sense. We were all pretty not light skinned at the beginning of life. Lori says, haven't you even got an independent diner there? Well, that's the problem. That's the problem. So we went to one, like, we thought it was a diner, but it's just kind of like a Cisco diner. It's not, you know, a diner, I feel like you need to cut your own French fries. Not buy them frozen and remake them. No. And you need to flip eggs or like flip burgers on a griddle. Something real, you know? And that was not that. So I'm kind of disappointed. But yesterday for lunch, when we were coming in, we went to a little barbecue place, and that was nice. That was nice barbecue, like real barbecue. Everything was smoked. We had brisket, sausage, chicken, and pork ribs. Yeah, it was good. And some coleslaw. There was actually cilantro in the coleslaw.
Beef ribs.
It was beef ribs?
It was beef.
It was beef?
It was a big one.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure because I thought like at first I thought it was that, but then I thought the fat didn't really taste like beef. Okay.
It was beef.
It was beef? No, but I know, but I'm thinking about it right now.
I will not bet my bank account.
Okay, we're not sure. But and cream corn. Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was like $30 for this huge plate. It was called the Pit Boss. And it had every meat in it that they were cooking. Yeah. Sausage weren't my thing. I usually really love sausage, but this sausage, I don't know. It's kind of, it was like very, okay, mushy sausage. So you know when like there's no piece of meat in the sausage, it's kind of like if you eat an high-grade sausage, yeah? It's good, but it's like, if there's, you don't see the chunks. I like chunks in my sausages, okay? So that's just it. Or if there's no chunks, the skin needs to be really thick. So it was missing a little bit of both. But yeah. Snoopy, yes, Sheriff Baldwin, that's in Rambo. Batty says, that's a decent little drive for a dress to wear once. Yeah, from Forks to Port Angeles. Well, I mean, I went to Montreal for my prom, so that was also for my prom dress, and that was also like an hour and a half. I mean, when you live in a town or a small town, sometimes you have to go further, and that makes sense. Okay. We have like Kevin who says, check your laptop batteries. Hey, don't worry, I'm good. I got a power bank here. I'm live streaming. I do this for a living, bro. Don't worry.
We're cool.
Betty says, according to my weather app, it's dry air today. So I'm sure the laptop is fine. Yeah, anyway, this laptop is like, I don't know if you can see, but it's like one of those Zeppelin guitars. Like there's some marks here, and it's just because I wore it down.
Jimi Hendrix guitar is less dear.
Yeah, like this, and this is like my second computer. Well, okay, I had many computers, but like since I've been doing like Piper and all that, it's my second computer. You should have seen the first one. But this is my second, and I wrote my book with this one, so these stains, like the keyboard is really, yeah, there's a lot. It got, I mean, doing YouTube and social media is not that bad on a computer, but writing a book or just writing is a lot of keying in. Yeah, so that's definitely one thing that did not help it. Le Manoir du Diable was the first film apparently in 1896. That's the first vampire movie.
1896.
Yeah.
They were making movies back in the day.
Well, it must have been like a silent flip, 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 flip,
It
flip
was a
movie.
flip movie.
It was
wasn't
probably
it?
like, yeah, it was probably not. Well, because 1896, no, because even like Edison invented the photo carousel,
I need
maybe.
to research that.
Yeah, because it must have been like some of the first Edison carousel. That was not like, okay, it was a picture that was moving, but it wasn't, I don't think it was like video yet. Because 1890 was like the invention of the real light bulb that worked. And then Edison went on to do other stuff. But I'm thinking that's like, wow.
It's a thing.
Is that thing? Is it a movie?
The House of the Devil, 1896, the first horror film.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Never seen that one. We're gonna need to do it on YouTube tonight. It must be uncopyrighted, right? It's 3 minutes. Those movies are always super short, right? Back in those days, it took so long. Have you ever tried boudin? Yes, I love boudin. But there's different types, of blood pudding. There's white, there's black, and sometimes they have oatmeal in it. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes a cube. I really like the boudin sausage. When it's really like, again, with chunks in it and all that, that's really good. I had some in Reunion Island. That was the best boudin I ever had. It was so good. Then, okay, that's a good one from MKY God. Are you always like really wet? MKY God. KY, like the gel, you know? Do you have any plans to attend any EV Tesla Meets festival or interact with other Tesla content creators? Yes, I do. Always trying to find events. Quite frankly, so far, like it just didn't happen in the right time, right season. I kind of missed the California one, and the ones that I've been seeing so far were just kind of test drives and stuff like that in Portland and near me. And then there was some EV community stuff in Saskatchewan and in Alberta, but that was just kind of EV community. It wasn't a big kind of EV convention center or something. So yeah, but if you have EV events that you know of and near you, definitely send me something in the comment section, because we are looking to go to them. Yeah. So I know there's a few big ones that I really want to do, but they're kind of gonna have to wait next year. We missed them. So we'll see how that goes. Okay. The Prince of Darkness.
Ozzy's dead.
Ozzy's dead. Dracula, Prince of Darkness was 1964. Well, but that's recent, right? 1964. I mean, Morbido says hi, lol. Oh well, hey Morbido, and hey Grizzly. Going to dinner with my aunt. I'll catch up later. Okay, so cool. Thanks for dropping in and dropping by. Okay, guys, so yeah, getting back to Twilight. Don't worry, ask questions, be in the live comment section. I'm here. So I'm here in Forks, Washington, Twilight Town. And every store has Twilight stuff. Like, and I mean every store. And so vampires here are kind of a thing. I don't know if people hate it or love it. There's kind of a mix between the two. Because without all of this tourism, I mean, this town would be no more. But then again, you kind of have to suffer through all the Twilight stuff, and maybe you don't like Twilight, or maybe. And I haven't even been on the reservation yet, and so I don't know like how they feel about that either. Because, I mean, vampires, we all know it's not true. But I feel like the whole reservation part and the whole Jake part has been a lot more inspired by what Stephanie Meyer thought was like this tribe's history. I said, yeah. I'd be interested to know, like, do they really feel like they're all werewolves? Was it like Harry Potter? And like every kid on the reservation was like, okay, when I turn like a teenager, am I going to turn into a werewolf? Because I was waiting for my Harry Potter letter. I was legit waiting for it. Never got it. But like, I would have liked to have it. So I feel like, is that the same thing? But here, yeah, every store. So the main street is super small. Is very small, and the Tesla supercharger is at the end of it. So when we went to Tesla supercharger, we're like, well, and that's coming in, right? Because we had to plug kind of right coming in. So we just came in, plugged, and we're like, I think that was it. I think that was the whole town. And it's so weird because then we tried to find a place to sleep. We hadn't reserved or anything. we're just, we road trip. So we leave, and then if there's something we see or something that happens, we might change our plans. So reservation is not great. We sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't. Every time we kind of regret it, either or. So it doesn't really matter. Sometimes we reserve and we're like, we shouldn't have reserved. There was other better places. And other times, we don't reserve and we're like, there's no more places to stay. And that's exactly what happened here. So we arrived, and then all motels had no vacancy, or they had vacancy on the neon sign, but then on the door there was a no vacancy paper. So that was a bit confusing. So we knocked on doors, we checked, and there was nowhere. So we went at one, and the lady was an Indian, of course. It's all kind of Indian owned here, the motels. I mean, some of them are still probably owned by other people, but yeah, the ones we've been to were Indian owned. And so she said, well, there's nothing here, but talk to the manager. And so she gave me her phone, and I started talking to the manager, and it was like, it's $250 a night. And I was like, $250 a night? No, it's way too, I want a motel, and that's $250 USD. I'm Canadian. This is a lot of money. So I was like, wow, this is crazy. $250 a night? No. So then we went to another place, and then the guy wasn't there, so I called because there's the number, because it says vacancy. So I was like, well, maybe there's something there, and it was the same guy. But this time he said 225. So I'm not joking, this is true. And I was like, I just talked to you, right? And so there was no more vacancy.
No, that was him. It was
Yeah, of course it was him. And there was no other places that were available, and these are kind of new. As you can see a little bit behind, these are kind of new little units. So they're kind of a bungalow. So this a cabin. Yeah, it's a kind of like a cabin. And there's like a trailer park too. But so these are cabins with one washroom, one bedroom, and then this kind of long kind of area. And there wasn't even a kitchen table. And I was like, 250, and now 225 without kitchen table. So, well, okay, he did 225, and then so we moved in because we had to shoot and do our content. But that was what was left. So we took 2 nights, and we did our thing and are still doing our thing. But yeah, reserve in advance. If you want to come to Forks, you have to reserve in advance, or else, well, you're gonna be stuck with the 250. And that's a lot of money.
And in September, tell the story about September.
So, Forks is all about Twilight. And who is Twilight? Well, Twilight is really Bella, which her real name is Isabella, but she prefers to be called Bella for some childhood trauma that we don't know. So,
Bela Lugosi's dead because of Bela Lugosi.
That must be it.
It is.
Yeah, she got inspired.
Of course, because Bela Lugosi's one of the first modern vampires.
Okay, so it's because of Bela Lugosi. That makes more sense, though.
It's just that.
Okay.
I would bet my bank account.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so Bella because of Bela Lugosi. And so Bella's birthday is on September 13th. Yes.
Oh, because of the birthday?
Yes, and every year in Forks, Washington, they do this big event. And it's on Bella's birthday or on the weekend of her birthday. So whenever, like, it's the weekend nearest to her birthday, because it has to be a weekend or else people can, like, they have jobs, the people that like Twilight. So they have to come here, and people told us when we were walking around and like asking questions that people, it's like the Calgary Stampede. They reserve a year in advance, une année in advance, and like what you pay $100 for now, which you don't, like, because it's kind of like almost $200, even in cheap motels here, it's $200 US. Downtown Forks, there's not really an out of town Forks, but you get it. It gets to $500 a night. $500 for that weekend. And there's a kind of peak season, which is from May to the end of September, so beginning of October. That's kind of peak season because there's tourism from everywhere. Like I said, Seattle is not that far from here. So if you're a Seattleite, or I don't know how you guys are called, well, maybe you come here for vacation. Just like when you live in Quebec, you go to Maine on vacation, because that's kind of the vacation line of Quebec. There's other places you can stay in now with everything that's happening with the US. I'm not saying that that's where people are going, but that's where they used to go. It's like 4.5 hours drive. If you don't have kids to go pee or stuff like that, like within a day you're there. So you leave in the morning, you arrive afternoon, you set up your camp, and you're good. So those are things that that people would do. And here in Forks it's a bit the same thing, but yeah, it is very expensive to sleep here. So if you can't camp, do it. If not, I don't know, and reserve in advance, because even the campground, we went to a campground this morning and there was a lot of reservations. A lot of camps already were there, and the ones that weren't had reservation stamps. And then there was even a car that pulled in, and I was checking, and it looked a little bit and then it went away. So I think there was no more room left. So that's something about Forks that you should know. Grizzle says, did you guys see the keychains for the blue filter from the movie? No, I did not see that. There's a lot of books. Yeah, all of the books are here. So if you go in any like convenient grocery store, you can buy the books, like in Trilogy, huge packages, stuff like that, bumper stickers, t-shirts. Yeah, lots of merch, like t-shirts, hoodies. It's just written Twilight on it. Nothing crazy, but they do a lot of those. There was a lot of Sasquatch stuff too here, because it's the woods, right? But I think the Sasquatch definitely lost its job to the werewolf and the vampire. Yeah, now the Sasquatch, nobody talks about him anymore. And they have, you know, when I was young, well, we had Videotron in Quebec, but you guys had Blockbuster, right? So they have all of these like printouts, cardboard printouts of like all of the Twilight casts, and they're everywhere in every store, and most of them are not looking good. You know, they've seen too much sun. Yeah, they need some sunscreen or something, but they're there. And right dab in town, there's a museum, and the museum has props from 5 of the Twilight movies, I think. Yeah. So, and it's free, and then there's donation. I didn't go in. I didn't want people to see me there, but it's that thing, and so everything revolves around Twilight in this town. It's just too bad that it's not like the actual legit town where they chose to film Twilight. I think that would have been awesome for many reasons. Like, you could have done real tours here and it would have matched the actual movie. But most of the movie, if I check, I think was filmed. I got some numbers here. Give me a second. So, rainiest place in America. Okay, yeah, that's for birthday. No, I don't find it. I think it was Oregon. Oh yeah, Oregon. So most of the film was shot in Oregon. Then there was Kalama and Cape Horn. Yeah. So it was not here. It was not filmed here. None of it was filmed here. And then Stephanie Meyer actually came here, which is interesting, in Forks 2 times. Yeah, so she flew into Seattle and then she took her car and did the whole thing. And I think she came from one of the festivals, actually, from one of that festival that they do in September, to see it, but that was the first time. So when she wrote the book, she hadn't even come here. She just kind of Googled it, took like maps and stuff, and of course with the internet. We're talking 2005, we're not talking like 1980, right? So there was
Google
internet.
existed.
Yeah, when Google existed. So she did a whole bunch of researches and created all of the environment and everything related to it from it. And so it's really true that it's very similar. Yeah, in all of these geographical ways. And even the name of the tribes and all that stuff, that works. Like, the only thing that doesn't work is kind of the vampire stuff, because that really does not exist. And the werewolf stuff, does not exist either, but at least there's sort of this, this actual legend in that tribe that's how it's supposed to be, or how it was, that they're descended from wolves. So I think that makes a little bit more sense. Okay, let me get back to the comment section for you guys. How much more do you have to research / travel do you have left for your documentary? That's from Damage. do you have exact things in mind, or are you just kind of feeling it as you go? So what we do for the documentaries is usually we have a theme. We go with the team, and then we do a sort of pre-shot list. So what we need to do, where we need to do it. But that's the thing. I mean, huge sets like Netflix, or like if you do a real movie, usually you pay some people to go. Back in the day, they would go with cameras, take shots of everything and come back, and then they would be able to draft the shot lists and draft the locations they want to shoot in and all these things. Now, we're not doing that, so we do our best with the information that we have. Again, a bit like Stephanie Meyer from the internet. We combine everything, we get our team ready, but sometimes you still have to go there, get there, and like we wanted to go on the Hoh Trail, but that's, you need a $30 pass, you need to arrive at like 6 a.m. to do the walk, and it's a 2-hour walk, and we have gear to be with, and it's not like there's one of these guys like on the Everest that's gonna carry your gear. You have to do it yourself here. So we didn't know, and then we realized that there's a whole bunch of other trails that are just out in the open here. You can kind of just stop anywhere and there's gonna be a trail. So when you have nobody to come in as an éclaireur, I would say in French, but I don't know what it is in English, but that would come in before you and set it up, or even for us. So what we like to do is just come in, check it out, and then try to figure out what we do. Sometimes we shoot right away and it works out. Other times, like this morning, we shot a whole bunch of stuff, but it didn't work out. So we're gonna need to go back and shoot again tomorrow with tighter shot scenes and tighter description, because some of the stuff we want to do, we won't be able to. It doesn't work anymore. When you're here, some things change. And I've also learned, like, I really like to do the little interviews and stuff like that, but those sometimes change a lot of your show. So you have to be not careful, but when you do those, you kind of have to decide to incorporate them and not make them be your whole entire show. Because maybe you'll find just people that will say something completely different from what we want to talk about, or that will be against what you're talking about or for what you're talking about. And that's it. Everything helps the story, but it just sometimes deviates from it. So yeah, thanks for asking. And that's how we're doing it. But now also, because of what happened this morning, all the shots that we did that didn't work, we created ourselves a web app. And so we're trying to do it a bit more like cinema would do it, with shots, takes, and have the whole story prepped so that I can really say and do what I wanted to, because it was amazing. We went on like this hike and I had all the sound gear to measure the sound. This is the upcoming video that you will see coming up soon. And so that was really cool, but it was the first time I did that. That's the whole point. I often do things that I've never done for the show, right? For the documentaries. And so I have to kind of learn how to use this and do it at the same time as shooting the whole thing. So it's a cool learning curve, and it was amazing, but it also means that, yeah, I have to be willing to start over and over and over again. But we are getting better. I would say we're getting better, yeah?
Let's go back to Twilight.
Yes.
All the young girls everywhere. Okay.
So what is the age of the Twilighters? Twilight fans.
What kind of people they are?
What kind of people are they, and how old are they? There's some people dressed in black. There are some. There's a lot of couples. I would say below 30. Yeah. The other ones, well, they need their parents, right? Because they're too young. And the guy is usually just holding the phone and taking the pictures, while the girl is doing girl stuff. And so there are younger and there are older. Everybody's kind of like, I would say, a bit chubby. Like your typical Taylor Swift fan. I think Taylor Swift fans and Twilight might kind of have some, yeah, you know, heartbreak, love is difficult. Very similar. Very, very similar. Then there's those women who are a bit older that might fantasize about it, I guess, that are there. But if not, the crowd is either very young girls that have just discovered Twilight for I don't know what reason, because like the first movie was 2008, sorry, 2008. So 2008 was the first movie. We're in 2026. those people are like legal now in some countries. So definitely the Twilight crowd, like me, when Twilight got out in movie, I think, yeah, it was in 2008, so I was still in high school. It was like my last year of high school ish. I think I graduated in 2009. Yeah, something like that. So this is the time where it was like, wow. And so for people a little bit old, like I guess younger than 30, between probably 27 and 35, that are that age now, would have probably freaked out on Twilight when they were in their teens. So now they can pay for it, they can come and see Forks and enjoy everything going on. But you still have that really younger generation, like the one that goes and gets dressed at Brandy Melville. So there's like some colorful Twilight fans, and there's a few goth, a few of those like more black that come here. But quite frankly, like Twilight's nothing to do with gothic. Maybe the later movies got a little bit better, but like it's nothing gothic about Twilight in the beginning. Like none of it. I mean, I'm not saying it's purple, but the guy sparkles. Like, come on. It's not, there's nothing like hardcore about sparkling. I mean, not that I find. So the crowd is a little bit of that. Yeah, and a lot of that. And then between that is the hikers and the people that really just come for the trails. And then I guess you're here, so why not do a little bit of Twilight stuff? But I don't know. I haven't seen like a Twilight burger or no, but it's true because I was like, you know, yeah, the Twilight burger, like medium rare, you know, or like a werewolf sandwich. I don't know. Like it's very Twilight themed, but for some reason it isn't either. And there's a few, like I said, there's a few motel rooms that are themed, but at the same time,
it's just posters on the wall.
It's just posters on the wall. It's not like really themed. So they're kind of, I feel like the town is kind of really acting upon it, but at the same time don't want to. There's kind of this ambivalence between we like it and we hate it. So I don't know. What's up with that? And here. Would you ever consider trail camping to save money on motel stays? No, I would consider making a lot more money. Yeah, that's my consideration. And I can make more money. I just need to work harder and better. So I would rather upgrade motel to hotel. But like here, there's no hotel. In Forks, there's no hotel. There's only motels and these cabins, which are really nice. They're new. This still smells like new. Yeah. So that, I mean, I don't mind. I don't want to do camping, many different reasons. The way I like to shoot content and do things, I want to upgrade the quality of the content and everything else. And so I feel like doing camping is just so much more complicated and so much more time spent on doing camping. Yeah, and that's time that I'm not filming, not editing, or not doing anything with social media, and that's the stuff I really need to be doing. So no, not gonna do camping. But I understand that some people who do more van life and that sleep in the car, sometimes it could be better. But I like my toilet and my shower, so I don't want to do that. I want to go there. Lori says, I watched Plan 9 from Outer Space yesterday. Bella is just the biz. I'm not sure I understand any of what you just said. Why not get a small tent? $500 is insane. Well, yeah, I think that answers that. So I know it's insane, but at the same time, I really need to have a washroom, a shower, sometimes a kitchenette, which is awesome, but we do tailgate cooking. I love to cook with the power bank, which is there now, and the car. I mean, that I like to cook outside. I would say, like, unless it's winter or it's rainy, it's really great. That makes me unplug, and I spend some time just not on computer, not on the phone. We take some pictures, of course, sometimes short videos, but I really like that. Yeah, that's something I like, but I like to wash my dishes in a sink, you know, washing the dishes outside, it's a bit of, again, it's a lot of work when I also need to work. So I know some people, you guys go on camping, you're on vacation. I go do these things as work. It's very different. I have to work or else I can't pay the $500 for whatever. And that includes like food, internet, all that stuff. Right now I'm broadcasting live from the Starlink Mini. And the phone with the Bella box. And that's funny because the box that we bought is called a Bella box. And the first place where we take it is FORKS. And that's where Bella lives.
Bella Lupus.
So, yeah. That's it. MKY God says, yeah. They have tents that you can attach rear of your Tesla X. I saw those ones. Yeah, but still, that's a tent. And it's not comfortable. I like beds. Anything sun bleach should get a coating of glitter. That's a great idea. Let's just sparkle the shit out of it. Piper, big fan here. That's from Thomas. Hey Thomas, thanks very much for stopping by. Okay, that's awesome, guys. So that's what happened. I've been 24 hours in Forks, Washington, Twilight Town. Everything's about Twilight here. You have to reserve in advance. There's no McDonald's, no A&W, no nothing. There's a lot of mini, this is the thing, I don't know why in Washington so far, these mini espresso bars, like just boop, they're everywhere, and you just like go there and they're all, I guess, owned. There's no Starbucks, there's none of that, it's just there. So that's kind of cute and cool. There's not enough, there's 2 Mexican restaurants, but there's just not a lot here.
Local bar was cool.
The local bar was cool. The tip and what is it? The tip and wire. The tip and we went there. They have a big tap selection, some wines, some games. It's very nice. Quite frankly, that was nice. And they do some food a little bit if you want to eat there. Yesterday night we went there. That was great. Yeah, that was great. So there's cool things to do, but in the same time, I mean, it's funny. I feel like it's just teamed enough and not enough. I think Hope is definitely leaning more into the Rambo thing. Like they have the Rambo burger, you have tours too and stuff like that. So I think folks need to
and
just.
It was filmed there. Rambo was
That's the thing. It was filmed there. Here it's not filmed there. So people, they kind of need to excuse themselves that it's here but it's not filmed here, and everybody tells you. So I think that's the only problem. If they would have filmed it here, it would have been fine, and the town could have really leaned into it. Now it's kind of half and half. It's like imposter syndrome. I don't know. They have that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I need to go shoot some more content to get some fangs. Yeah. Or maybe more werewolf. I don't know. I need to get unlasered. So I'll see you in the next one. But if you have questions, comments, or anything, make sure you drop them down there. Yeah. And for the rest, well, there's a lot more happening on Piper Unplugged, so don't forget to subscribe. And if you know someone who loves road trips or loves anything we talk about on this show, because there's many shows. There's Motel, there's the Piper Unplugged, there's all the shorts that we do, and there's a lot of location we've been covering so far.